Okay, Tony Mormino here for a video tutorial on how to create this video. Hey, there's another Tony. I'm looking at another Tony. God bless me, having to look at that all day. Okay, so why give away free educational content, which is what I'm doing with this video and what I do with a lot of my videos. It's because it's a great way to build trust, to build your brand as the expert in whatever field you're in. I'm here talking about HVAC fan laws, but this could apply to, it doesn't matter what field you're in. You could be an accountant, you could be an attorney, you could be whatever, but you're giving away content that's important to your audience, okay? So let me point out a few things here as to what's going on and what made this one what I would call successful. I think we got 22,000 views on impressions on LinkedIn. This is on the LinkedIn platform here. I also posted this on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. It did very well on all those platforms, okay? So let me kind of go through this and show you what's going on here. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about what you're seeing here, and then I'll tell you how we did it, what bits and pieces of, hardware you'll need and software. So, okay. So let's point out a few things here. Now, you may be looking at this and be going, a whiteboard? I mean, seriously? Now, I've taught fan laws many different ways. One with a screen share, with a very professional looking, what do you call it, PowerPoint presentation. I've taught it on nice digital screens where I had a mouse and I was going through it. It looked real pretty. The whiteboard kills. I don't know why. People like it on the whiteboard. So the purpose of me sharing that is you got to try different methods because different things will work with different audiences. I've actually done several where I've had my phone and I mounted it like this and I just wrote on a piece of paper, and those have done really well. So don't be afraid of the low-key, low-production stuff because generally that will do better on social media today than the high-end production stuff will. Okay, so that's one thing about that. The other thing to point out here is, and I've actually recently started doing this. I'm trying to get better at having props. This is just a fan motor and a blower out of an old Aeon unit. My son brought home, he's a service tech, so I'm like, oh, bring home more stuff. I'll use them as props. Generally, I wouldn't have done that in the past because I wouldn't have this stuff with me. So if you have a prop, great, but a lot of the stuff I'm going to throw at you is kind of advanced. If you're just starting out, do what you can just to get started. Don't worry about all the extra hoopla I've got here, okay? I'm going to show you the way I did it, and then I'll tell you how to do it real easily. If you don't have a prop like this, or if you're talking about fan laws or something like that, and you have a fan in your house, use a regular fan. It's the same thing. So try to find something if you can. If not, think about it as you go out through your day in whatever profession you're in. You might see something and go, ooh, that would be a good prop, and take it and store it, and then you might pull it out one day and use it as a prop because it really could enhance your video. Okay, why don't I shut up for a minute and play a minute of this so you can see what's going on here. So,
airflow in half. Does the energy use drop by half? Actually, it's way more than that. Let me show you. Okay, so the way you determine fan energy.
So that's called a hook, by the way, if you're new. So a hook is something like it piques their interest. It creates an itch that needs to be scratched, like, oh, I don't know. What is the answer to that? So I'll play that again so you can see it.
This fan airflow in half. Does the energy use drop by half? Actually, it's way more than that. Let me show you. Okay, so the way you
Okay, so then I go through the answer to that problem. And the problem is posed in a way, well, yeah, wouldn't it be half? Why wouldn't it be half? And then I go through and explain why it's not half. It's actually like 12.5% of the energy usage, so it's pretty dramatic difference. A few other things to point out here. I've got some minor HVAC TV branding in the lower corner, and I've also got this shirt I'm wearing, which a fan of ours gave us. Capital Boiler in Maryland. They're a big fan of HVAC TV. They like to watch the shows. They like me personally, so they sent me a box of shirts. So I was like, okay, well, I'll wear it in a video. Now, when you wear something like that in a video, it gets a lot of attention. They'll take it. They might share it with their feed. They might tag somebody in it. And I tagged some of the people I knew there. And I actually did a nice shot here where I turned around and I gave the whole, thing. So all the stuff you see here, when you see it from a creator, an influencer who's been doing it a while, all this it's not an accident, right? Like everything you see in there kind of has its purpose. And that's why I have a little bit of the HVAC TV just kind of off to the corner, because you don't want to have so much stuff that people don't know where to look, right? So I just did the minor HVAC TV branding. Sometimes I'm wearing the HVAC TV shirt, but I didn't want to, double up on the branding, and I wanted to give our customer enough attention there. Okay, so what else here? So let's play this again.
2 is 150. Our CFM1 is 300.
Recorded this.
So let's go ahead and calculate this out. And we're solving for,
which is going to seem like a lot of work,
horsepower.
But once you get it down,
so what is H?
And you understand it, it's really easy to pop these out. Okay, I think I did this from beginning to end, probably an hour and 20 minutes, maybe an hour or something like that. And to reach, it's, ultimately this will reach over 100,000 people. So it's definitely worth that time. When you think about what kind of time it takes you to reach that many people, it's definitely worth it. Okay, so let's see, what do we want to talk about now? So let's talk about the setup, how we recorded it, the camera and everything, and then I'll show you about the editing, then we'll talk about the posting. Okay, I think I'm back. I paused it for a second here to find some photos and to get some stuff here to show you how to use it. Okay, so generally, the content you're going to be creating, 99% of what I do is with my iPhone, okay? If you don't have a newer iPhone within a couple years, this one's, I think, coming up on 2 years, consider doing that. If you have a really old one and it doesn't take great photos and videos and you want to be serious about content creating and you're going to update anyway, now's the time to upgrade, okay? So just think about that. My son has an older version that's 4 years old. He does a ton of content, so, you can get by with it. Don't sweat over that, okay? You got a lot of stuff going on. I don't want to throw too much at you at once, but so a little bit about phone videos, okay? These cameras are way better than your front little camera. I don't know what the exact specifics are, but they're like 10 times better. Okay, so whenever you're gonna do something like this, what you wanna do is use the back camera. Okay, this is the front camera, and this is the back camera. Now I do use the front camera. If you watched my video on how I read and did the breaking news, that was a front camera shot. So I do use it sometimes, but if you can use the back, use the back. Okay, so how do you use the back? If you're looking at the camera and you can't see it, you can see me here in this video, and I'm circling where my camera would go on this tripod. It's a little hard to see because the background meshes in there. But if I had my camera here looking at me, I can't see what the camera sees. So there's 2 solutions to that. So first, you could just set up the shot with this, have someone stand there, or just, kind of figure out where you're going to be on camera, run through a couple takes, move the camera back a little to the side. That's the easy way to do it. They also make these things here, which are screens that sit on the back of your camera. Okay, so this screen is a mirror of this. See? So whatever I show this camera, I see on here. So for example, see if I can get this on here. I now could see, what's going on in the room. So this camera here is showing on here. So if I was gonna, oops, I hit a button there. What did I do? I don't know what I did there. But if I was gonna, I put it in photo mode. Video mode. So if I was going to take a video and look in the camera, okay, I'm looking directly in the camera. Something like that. And I could see me in the screen here. Okay, does that make sense? I don't know what they're called, but there's tons of companies that make them. This particular one is a Numoa. Numoa is the name. But you can go to Amazon. There's a bunch of them. It connects with this and connects here. It connects through the Wi-Fi to your phone, okay? Which is a little bit, this is not my favorite. I don't know if there's an easier one out there, but the next time I get one, I'm going to look for one that doesn't go through the Wi-Fi just because it's a little harder. Also, make sure you change it from 60 frames to 24 frames. Okay, that's another tip because it doesn't jive well with the screen. The other thing is I always shoot in 4K if I can. If you don't have 4K, don't worry about it. Shoot in 2K, the highest resolution you have. It'll be just fine for social media. Okay. So that's a little bit about the screen. So the other thing you're going to need is a tripod. The one in this shot is this one here. This is kind of a higher end one. You don't need one this nice. I can't remember what I paid for this, but here's the model. Here's the name. Ulanzi, Ulanzi. Okay, it extends pretty high up and it's pretty solid. So you could put your camera in here. And what you could do is, because when you put your camera in something like this, you can't, it's hard to use the back camera. So for example, if I try to put this on here, it's hard to mount it on there. So what you would do is, and again, you don't need all this stuff. You can pull a table up and put it lean it on a book or a shoebox. I did that for years before I got, you know, the nicer stuff, because I just didn't want to hassle with having to get it. So don't feel like you got to do all this. And there's, you know, there's a lot cheaper products than this one on Amazon too. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So if you want to do this rig, so similar to what I have in this shot, is you would just hook up your phone. Okay, and then you would get what's called a hot shoe mount. These are on Amazon, they're real cheap. And you got to make sure you have a place to mount this on your actual tripod. Okay, so this one has that. So you screw that in there. Again, don't stress out over this. This is kind of advanced stuff. And then you connect, if it's got the right mount, you connect that here. Okay, and then you put your camera, or your monitor, I guess we'll call it, on here. So while I'm looking here, I can see what's going on in the camera. So you can see in this image here, I wish I had a better one. I'll take a better one next time. Do you see where the phone should go? The phone is not in there because someone is using it to take a picture of me, okay? But you can see this here is right there, okay? So I'm looking in the camera and I can see myself. Again, don't need it, but I want to show you exactly, I want to give you all the details and show you exactly what I'm doing as part of this behind the scene deal. Okay, so what else do we need to know there? Oh, for mics, I almost forgot about that. So this is something you definitely should invest in. These are really inexpensive. I think $30 I paid for these. And you could, you know, you could buy higher ones if you got the money, get the $80 ones. But these work great. I bought these years ago. They're like 30 bucks. And I just keep them out here. And what happens is this plugs into the bottom of your phone. And then you've got two mics. And it's automatic. You don't have to Bluetooth it. You don't have to Wi-Fi it. Super, super simple. So definitely get some of these. This is going to help out your game a lot. Good audio makes a huge difference in your content game. Okay. So the other thing I could say too is I didn't really script this. I had kind of an idea of what I wanted to say. I did think out the hook a little bit and go through that. Okay, so then I did the recording. Let's go to the recording. Enough of that. That's the final product. Okay. So this is going to be fun because this is going to look kind of weird.
If you cut this fan airflow in half, does the energy use drop by half?
And you can see the mic right here. If you've watched any of my other tutorials,
so if you
know
cut
it looks...
this fan airflow in half, does the energy use drop by half?
So I might do this a few times. And the reason I'm pausing is to become evident in a minute. So what I used to do when I recorded these, hey, if you cut this fan airflow in half, and then I'd pull over, I might be looking at a script or something like that, and I do it too quick, you got to leave room for the edit. So if you cut this fan airflow in half, what happens to the energy usage? Blah, 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 blah. You get it. So you got it. So you'll see as I go through here, it's all like that. Okay, sometimes when I do the screen recording, it struggles to keep up. So let me start back over here. And I might do it a few times. You can see this video is 7-8 minutes long.
If you cut this fan airflow in half, does the energy use drop by half?
But the actual finished product's like 2 minutes. So we're going to cut this way down.
Okay, so the way you determine fan energy usage,
All right, I got to figure out why that's
as it relates,
not loading there, but I think it's just because I'm skipping ahead too much. All right, so I think you get the idea of the recording. You want to talk like this, and then do full sentences like this along the way. And then you pause between them. You walk down the hill to get the water. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So there's kind of a rhythm. There's kind of a flow to it. You'll get your own voice. You may not be that person. You may just plow right through it and be all energetic and jumping around and spinning around and doing, whatever works for you. Try it all different ways. This is what works for me, because when we put it in the editing, I'll show you that. And let me pull up my phone and I'll show you how to do this. Now you got this recorded on your phone. Now let me show you the rest of the story here. Okay, so I've got my phone mirrored on here. And to edit this video, I'm going to use the same program I use for 90% of my stuff, which is CapCut. So CAPCUT. Again, you can get a free version of this. All the programs that I use, I think all of them have a free version and a premium version. So I get the pro version. Try out the regular free version first. Make sure you like it. There's other programs out there that other people like to use. I would strongly suggest starting with this if you don't have one. It's, to me, the best by far for several reasons. But, okay. So now let me find that video. We could just look at a generic one here, but I want to kind of stick with what we were doing. Okay, I'm trying to... Okay, I had to pause there. The app works great, I promise. I was having trouble with the mirroring. I just started being able to mirror my iPhone on my Mac, so it's a lot of fun. It's great for tutorials, but sometimes I don't think I know what I'm doing. So anyway, that's what that was all about, but the app does work fine. So
if you cut this...
This is the video in CapCut. So what I do is I take that long 7 or 8 minute video, I put it in here, and the first thing I do is I add the captions. And I'm not going to do a whole... I should probably do a course on how to use this. There's a million YouTube courses on CapCut, so I don't want to waste your time and go through that here. I want to give you the content that is the stuff you probably can't find online. So CapCut tutorials, there's a million of them. Invest a couple hours, get in there, learn how to use the app. Very basic stuff. So all I'm doing here is adding captions. So I went to the caption template. There's all different kinds here. I picked out the one I like. I kind of like the single word, like this one right here, for this one, because it doesn't get in the way of all the other stuff on the white screen. If you get some that have, 2 or 3 sentences, it takes up a lot of space. So think about that when you're doing it. I use more words when there's less stuff to look at on the screen. Like if it's really shy of content, maybe it's just a pan across a couple rooftop units, then you want the words to be more prevalent. Now, when you add the captions, what it does is it's going to delete all the pauses. So all the spaces between, watch.
Fan airflow in half. Does the energy use drop by half? Actually, it's way more than that. Let me show you. Okay, so the way you determine...
Okay, so see? So that's why the pauses are there when you're recording. Because when you go to editing, it'll automatically take out the pauses and it'll give you those nice breaks and a space for people to relax between the breaks. So that's kind of...
Fan energy usage as it relates to changing the CFM is with one of the fan laws. So when you change the CFM...
I like the quick changes of scenes. To me, that helps keep people's attention. And I'll do a little more advanced, tutorial on this if y'all want it. Put it in the comments, by the way, if you see something you have a question, or if you say, hey, I've been trying this CapCut, I can't figure it out. Let me know. We'll help you with that.
The fan, the horsepower change has a
Captions, by the way, are huge. You should be adding captions to almost all your videos. So learn how to do that. Learn how to use captions.
cubic relationship.
See if I could just get to the end here. Let's see how long this. Oh, it ended up only being 1 minute. So that's perfect, actually.
0.5% of its original usage.
Boom.
So if you cut,
I've also added this here. Okay. Which helps with the thumbnail. Let's talk about that for a sec when we go back. Okay, so you do this video, you record it, you cut it in here. Real easy. You export it to your phone or your computer, however you're doing it. And they do have a computer version of this, a laptop version of this program too. So, okay, let's hop back to LinkedIn and look at the actual post now. Now you're ready to post. All right, now we're ready to post it. You can post it from your phone. You can post it from your computer, however you want to do it. A little bit about videos. So when you post videos, and this is going to be another tutorial, but when you do video content, you basically want the copy to be pretty minimal. Okay, and I'll kind of show you why that is. Let's go through my feed here. Before we go through and look at some other examples, here is what the copy is on this video post. Okay, so you want it all to be about the video with just a little bit of reference here. In this case, I put the formula in there. Here's the formula. So immediately people are like, formula, what's that? Maybe I should save this. Maybe I should watch this. It gives a little bit of the teaser as to what's going on. And then I tag Capital Boiler, the shirt I have on, and Hobbs and Associates, which is where Capital Boiler buys their HVAC equipment. Okay. So let's go to my home feed. Let's see if we can find some. Okay. So here's a video here. This is not going to show well. You know what? We should look at it on the phone. Let me jump back to the phone. Let me show you why. And most people watch their content on phones today. And I have got to get better at this mirroring. I just closed the window. Okay, here we go. So what happens is when you watch video on your phone, and I'll just focus on LinkedIn. Okay, now this is a landscape video here, so that's different than what we're talking about. We're talking about vertical video feed, which is relatively new for LinkedIn in this way. Okay, so when you're watching videos now,
23-year-old software engineer.
In the summer of 20.
I'm going to pause this for a second. What you see at the bottom is you see the person's name and their title. And if you click the More button, it's going to pop up a window with some copy. Now that's where the copy is, like when I had the formula and the people that were tagging. The reason you don't want too much of that is because you don't want it to cover up the video. So if someone clicks More and there's 5 paragraphs, it's going to cover up the video. And here it's not transparent. On some of the other apps, you could see through it. It's just the text over the video. So that's why you want it to be short.
How much are you currently making?
My base salary is
Okay, that's probably
$175.
a little long
If you are
there.
between the ages of 25 to like 35.
I am a software engineer.
How much do you make?
And
Base
you
salary.
see how different content is today than it used to be, right? There's none of this, hi, I'm Tony Mormino. I'm with HVAC TV. I've been in the industry for 20, you're gone. People are gone if you start with that. See how they're starting right out with the good stuff?
If you are between the ages of 25 to like 35, I'm 27. So
Hey, that's me. No, it's not. I'm 54.
What do you-
But you get it,
Got up
like,
to
right?
85.5 and bonus was
I'm a
8%,
software
so let's
engineer and
just
I
say
make
like,
boom.
Yeah. So
What is the salary range that you're looking for?
My salary requirement is
So that's an interesting one. They're starting out right away with something, they're talking about salary. Maybe I can make more money somewhere, yada, yada, yada. So this is all
I got a job
by
as a senior
design.
data analyst. I was making 90.
Okay, so vertical short form video is like that, you know. How does the energy usage change when you cut this fan CFM in half? Fans in your face. I'm going right at them with the thing. There's no intro. There's no fluff ahead of time.
Salary progression of
You
a
can
20.
see, too, how important the thumbnail is. So the thumbnail is what you see. Median annual salary by age. See, that's a thumbnail. Is a job as a senior data. I got a job as a senior data analyst. These are all thumbnails. So for my video, we didn't really look at that. The thumbnail is, I'm going to have to find it again. Give me just a second. Show all videos. And you can see on my videos, I always have some kind of thumbnail. This one's a vertical video, so don't, or a landscape video, so don't worry about that. This one, the thumbnail is, what's he doing with that meter? This one has a thumbnail, what's about to happen, and I'm saying pain, so there's some little bit of interest there. This one, revealing thermal scan, yada, 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 you get it. Breaking news, HVAC breaking news thumbnail, and the video that we just recorded. So every one of my videos should have a thumbnail that piques some kind of interest, gives you kind of a look into what you're going to learn by watching the video. Okay, why are these fan blades so quiet? Okay, reduce thermostat wiring. There it is right there. So CFM and horsepower, I don't know. Is that a great thumbnail? The video did pretty well, so I think so. I think it could be better, like, you know, something about the amazing reduction. Don't use the word amazing, but the unexpected reduction in energy when you cut your fan CFM in half. There's a shorter way to say that, but I can't think of it right now off the cuff, but you get what I'm saying. So anyway, let's see. We covered how to make this educational content, why it's important, the setup, the whiteboard, the camera, the mirroring the camera on the screen if you want to. Don't have to do that. If you're starting out, don't do that. Just do it, you know, set it up. The mic, a little bit on the editing and a little bit on the posting. So I think that's it. Okay, I hope you found value in this. Please, you know, comment on it and let me know what you think if you have any other questions. And we'll see you on the next tutorial. Thanks.